Hey, Tom. You're back with some good news for people, things they need to know. I know they're excited to hear you.
Well. We have been here before this afternoon a couple hours ago, and we talked about men's issues and why they're dying from cardiovascular, actually sudden death attacks. Over 300 times more than women are. So this time we're going to talk about an issue that affects the women more. And hey, have you ever wondered on how you protect yourself from having a fracture and having strong bones and getting yourself in great shape? Well, we're going to teach you a little bit about that this week, because we're going to talk about how do you prevent osteoporosis and what's the latest findings and how this all evolves around your lives. And this, my dear, is Ann. We actually are going to talk this time about women being affected a whole lot more than men. So I'm glad you're with me here this week. Today is Monday, it's July the 4th, so everybody is having fun and enjoying themselves, and we are too. So we're outside here we're outside.
No rain.
Fantastic. Not raining yet, but we have had rain lots lately here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and again, my name is Tom Jones. We're outside enjoying ourselves, but we're here to also educate and give you some knowledge, and we enjoy doing that because it's just so much fun, and it actually helps people. As if we can help one person have a better life and enjoy themselves later in life like we are. So we're going to talk about something that most people don't even think about. Most doctors don't really think about this either with their patients, and it's going to be a real interesting topic. It's something I've studied the last 25 years pretty extensively, and I'm going to give you some facts first. This is a 5-part series, by the way. Today is just the beginning. All during the week we're going to talk about osteoporosis, bone health, how you can hopefully build your body so that you can survive this major issue. And it is a major issue, particularly for ladies. And I want to hit you with the one fact that will strikingly be so important to you. Did you know that osteoporosis is the 12th leading cause of death in the United States? And this didn't come from just a shabby type of nomenclature. This is from the National Osteoporosis Foundation, the 12th leading cause of death for Americans. And 20% of hip fracture patients will die in the first year. I want to hit you with that again. 1 in 5 hip fracture patients will not survive till the second year. That's astounding. But if you stop and think about it, we're talking about people who are more or less more elderly, who have hip fractures, but that stat is just so amazing. It catches me cold. It really kind of hits me between the eyes. And these figures go back for a little ways, but there's 25 million Americans and 200 million people worldwide who have osteoporosis. And so therefore it's a major issue with particularly women. 1 in 4 women over 50 will experience a fracture during their lifetime. So that's 25%. 1 in 2 women over 50 will actually have right now some risk factor for osteoporosis. It's devastating. And why isn't it more known to the population? Because it's just, when you stop and think about it, that's a staggering amount of problems. That's a staggering amount of participation by unwilling people. I mean, who wants to have a fracture? Who wants to have a break? Who wants to be threatened with brittle bones? And brittle bones affect so many people, and you are at risk for a lot of different problems when you have brittle bones and osteoporosis. Osteopenia, which is the not quite as bad form of osteoporosis. So, now fewer than 1 in 4 men really have the situation under control either. So there's a real disconnect with people and when they go to the doctor about how to prevent osteoporosis. We hear about it, but it's not a visible situation. Think about it. In our mind, we know when we hurt our leg and have a sore on our body. We know when we have an injury. But you don't know when you have osteoporosis. And so many people go undiagnosed. So, all right, men over 50, though, have a higher risk of osteoporosis than actually, you know, this is interesting. 1 out of 4 men have more of a chance of developing osteoporosis than developing prostate cancer. So that means 75% of men will have a less risk, but 25% have more of a risk of developing osteoporosis than they do of prostate cancer. And that's something that you think about in men most prevalent. So Americans have a higher risk of osteoporosis, fractures, and I'm just going to actually just go over some of the fractures that occur in the body. Okay, 1.5 million people per year have a fracture. Of that, 275,000 are of the hip, and that's probably the worst fracture you can have. 500,000 of the fractures are from the spine. 200,000 fractures are of the wrist, and 300,000 other people have of the bones in the body. So there's an awful lot of fractures that occur every single year. And the cost to the Americans is over $15 billion per year, and it's climbing. So it actually may even be closer to $20 billion now. Unbelievable amount of problems, because mostly if you have osteoporosis, it's probably not even diagnosed officially. So let's go back and think about that. Since you don't see it outwardly, the majority of people who have osteoporosis don't even know they've got it. They may think it, but osteopenia, again, is the lesser evil of the two, but still that's the progression occurs when you go into full osteoporosis. So, all right, the average physician who actually sees patients weekly, 11 patients weekly who have osteoporosis, of that, only 1 is diagnosed with the disease. Let's go back over that again now. There's 11 patients probably that each doctor sees each week that has osteoporosis, but only one of those 11 are actually diagnosed with it. And that's some stats that we have actually pulled out, and the 77% of all postmenopausal women, 77% have undiagnosed osteoporosis. Think about that. 77% have undiagnosed. that means 23% have been diagnosed. So that's a 4-to-1 ratio. So 23% have been diagnosed, and 77% have not. And what you think about this, all right? In life, the adolescent years, you have already 60% of your bone formation. So the real secret to treating and taking care of osteoporosis starts in the teen years of your life, because 60% of your bone's already produced and it's formed. So therefore, it's downhill from that period of your life. And there's also 30 to 50 million people in the United States that actually have lactose tolerance. So with lactose tolerance, that increases the probability that osteopenia or osteoporosis will occur in that individual's lifetime. 30 to 50 million people, because
Are they intolerant?
they are intolerant to lactose. Anne's just asking the question. They're intolerant. They cannot consume the lactose. So therefore, they don't get the calcium from the milk. And Stefan Sandy, thank you so much. She's added a great comment here. Yes, we enjoy doing this because it's so important. We don't think about this. We do not think about it. And you have to think. You have to become aware. The problem is we've got so many different distractions in our lifetime. And when the distractions occur, we just don't figure that it will be a problem for us. However, when you start and think about 60% of the bone being formed early in your life, in the adolescent part of your life, then we better start thinking about that also. Now, another important aspect of this is think about our soil. Now, we don't talk about this much, but we have actually depleted the soil of a lot of the nutrients, because now we've taken the soil and turned it into cities, and we've taken the farmland and actually done away with it. So our vegetation and plants and food that we actually consume has less high quality soil. There's our forefathers actually had fertile soil. That's where they grew, and they didn't use all the chemicals out there. They didn't kill off all the things that were there, the vegetation, all the benefits of the good soil and the good land are pretty well non-existent now. And think about that. You pick up trace minerals, and the bone is not just calcium. It's got manganese, it's got magnesium, it's got all of the trace minerals. If you don't have what makes up the bone in the food sources that we have, then we are lacking in that endeavor. So the food sources no longer have the same nutritional value that we are used to consuming. And it's really the trace minerals. Think about it, the microwave cooking. We've got other things that affect us too. The fact that we decrease our whole food intake. And what do we eat now? We're going to the fast food places. And do you think for one instant that these are as good as something that's grown in the soil, and you see it, you plant it, you actually till it, you actually will prepare it and put it on the table, and it came from right there at your home? Do you think what you buy in the store is going to be as nutritionally favorable? No, you're exactly right. And think about all the prescription drugs that we consume today. And these prescription drugs are fantastic. They keep us alive, but guess what else they do? There's so many of those prescription drugs that causes drug nutrient depletion. And that's a term that we have introduced to you. Drug nutrient depletion means simply that you take a drug and it depletes some things that your body actually needs and should have. Drug nutrient depletion for the prescription medications for calcium are depleted when you take corticosteroids. So if you have some type of illness that requires that you take prednisone, prednisolone, any of the corticosteroids, it depletes calcium. And thyroid hormones. Interesting. How many people are hypothyroid today? Well, if your guess is millions upon millions upon millions upon millions, you're exactly right. Hypothyroid medications, the levothyroxine and other medications, deplete the body of calcium. And there's heparin, there's methotrexate, there's anticonvulsants that deplete the body of calcium, and antacids, because the aluminum in some of the antacids actually competes with the calcium because it's forming an ester. And diuretics take out the electrolytes from the body. And antibiotics. I mean, we're talking about major issues here that actually will take the calcium out of the body. And a lot of the multiple vitamins do not contain but just a tiny, small amount of calcium and the other nutrients that the body needs to build good bones. It's not just calcium. It is the magnesium, it is the manganese, it is all of the trace minerals that go into that bone matrix. So calcium, again, is used for a lot of different reasons in the body. It's not just a one-hit wonder, or as we used to say in music, is a one-hit wonder is one in which you have one hit and that's it. But calcium has many effects in the body, and we'll talk about that this week during our 5-part series. 42% of the people take less than the RDA recommended for calcium. So there's a lot of people who don't consume the calcium. Now, I know there's some studies that are talking about how much you need, what you need, and men need a little bit different quantities than women. Women need more of the calcium than guys do. And there are drug interactions even with the calcium. So that's something that I, as a compounding pharmacist and as a pharmacist, really want you to contact me, and we'll give you the scoop on that. So 66% of the women in the U.S. do not take the right amount or enough of the RDA of calcium. And what forms of calcium are better? You've got lots of controversy on that. You've got people who like the Tums, and is calcium carbonate a good type. You've got other people who like the microcrystalline type hypoxatate, and some of those are very, very, you need to know what forms of calcium work best for the body, what is the recommended amounts for the body, what you need to be consuming, what prescription drugs you need to be thinking about as far as, hey, am I losing additional issues and do I fall in that drug nutrient depletion area? And how do you prevent osteoporosis from occurring in the first place? What are the dangers and risks of, diet? The diet is so vitally important. Are sodas good to consume are sodas really bad for you as far as osteoporosis? And we're going to talk about a lot of major issues this week. Exercise, we know, is a plus for osteoporosis. Is it the best preventative? We're going to go into detail how and what and where, what if, why, and we're going to go into all the different facets of what you need to be doing to build a wonderfully productive and constructive program to prevent the osteoporosis. Again, when you have as many people dying of 12th leading cause of death in America. And what are the warning signs for osteoporosis? That's something else I'm going to actually give you the warning signs right now because I think you need to know it. It's so vitally important because does osteoporosis fall into the menopause and premenopause and postmenopausal arena of your life? Is it? Is it that important? And I got news for you. I think it really, really will shock you. But here are some of the warning signs that you might have or be developing osteopenia or osteoporosis. Bone pain, broken bones. That's a big, big, big sign. If you have a broken bone, that's the first thing that pops in my mind, and it should be the first thing that pops in your mind. The loss of height. If you shrink and have a bone deformity, that's a big, big, big risk factor for osteoporosis. Brittle or soft fingernails and toenails. If you have leg cramps, that will catch your attention right doggone quick. And if you have leg cramps, yes, that is a very, very, very significant sign that you might have osteoporosis. Restless leg syndrome, when the leg tends to move when you really don't want it to move, and lower back and curvatures of the spine. If you have pain in that area, periodontal disease. Periodontal disease is something you certainly don't think about when you are considering osteoporosis and receding gums, so the visit to the dentist can be a major, major undertaking that will give you that clue that you are developing osteoporosis. Thin, transparent skin. So the skin plays a major role in the body. Teeth discoloration and a crack in the tooth. Decreasing muscle mass. Now, if you want to really talk about a situation that will hurt your bone part of the body, if the bones are so critically important that if you develop a less of a muscle mass, if you start losing muscle and you basically are developing that, that is a significant major factor for looking into osteoporosis. And irregular heartbeat because of the situations with the cardiovascular system and calcium. Premature aging of the hair. So if you are developing the gray hair or the white hair, that's another major factor that you need to be really zeroing in on. And loss of hair, if you suddenly notice that you've lost hair, then this is a telltale symptom possibly of osteoporosis. So listen, this is not something that you put under the rug and you don't worry about. You can actually develop still a good strategy if you take it in consideration and start action on your osteoporosis prevention program. And I suggest everyone to stop and think, to look at yourself, just look at yourself and decide, well, wait a minute, I think I need to check this out. I think I'm of the age, and if you're a lady and you're post-menopausal or going into menopause or even premenopausal, you really need to take that in consideration and develop that strategy now, not later. Definitely now. This has just been the first session of 5 sessions. It's going to be continuing tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll conclude with the 5th of the 5 series on Friday. But this is an important issue. The 12th leading cause of death, and so many people are affected by it. If you, I just want to throw out to my audience, if you have ideas that you feel like would be good for a program, let us know. We are here to serve you. If you would like to contact us, just go to our website, which is todaywithtom.com or tomjonespharmacist.com. We monitor our sites at all times. Like us on Facebook and actually just follow us. That way you'll be able to, we'll send out notices always about the our times that we'll be doing our programs, and just give us a shout out. We are absolutely thrilled to hear from everybody. If you have any question that you have, pop it in to our site. Send it to us. We'll get it, and we just enjoy so much helping you and leading you into a bigger field of knowledge, because there's so much knowledge that you need to have to help be healthier in life. Again, my name is Tom Jones. I'm the pharmacist, and you have been with Tom Jones Pharmacist Live on Facebook, and we love you and talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.